Right all, happy Boxing Day. I was about to, I was starting to type a reply out to a couple of people who comment on my channel quite frequently, but I got halfway through and thought I'd just make a video because I got a bit fed up with writing. So, Burner VR show out in Norway. So you asking what I think is going to come next, January, February. And like I was going to say then in the comment, I'm a bit tired of all that sort of predicting the future, and particularly YouTubers who try to predict the future, and especially Christians who say, "Oh, it's going to happen on, watch out for December the 12th at 12 p.m." and then nothing happens, and it just makes everything look embarrassing from this sort of like our circle, shall we say? And I mean, like I was about to comment then, you remember the year 2000, like Y2K. Obviously, nothing happened, and then of course there was the big 2012 Mayan calendar, and then I remember around 2014, 2015, you had the CERN thing happen, and I think all these things do actually have a meaning behind them, but I don't necessarily believe that it's worth trying to be a Nostradamus or Mother Shipton here in England and trying to predict all this stuff. Clearly, there are things being put in place. So, for example, you're saying that out in Norway, they can enter your home now. Once they suspect there's a reason they need to because of a cough or something like that. Well, the Global Health Organization, shall we call them, they've been working on that quietly in the background this year. It's all part of their plan. Obviously, you only have to watch the movie Songbird, which came out during Divic-19, and they've showed what they're hoping to do. And obviously, the people that are coming around in the white suits, dragging people out of their homes, they're living in the hotels in the UK right now. But why I'm not worried. I'm not worried about any of this, to be honest. If things do kick off big time, well, I'm native to this country. And to be honest, I don't belong in towns and cities. I belong in the woods. I belong by the rivers. I belong in the hills, the caves of Derbyshire, wherever, the fens of Cambridgeshire. I don't want to sound too William Wallace Braveheart about this, but it's our natural habitat. We don't belong in towns and cities. Towns and cities now, the longer I live, the more I look around, I can see they're just big open prisons. And they're all carbon copies of each other now. There's no individuality anymore. But it's all part of the plan. This has probably been planned 2,000 years in advance, ever since the Romans got here. And they finally broke us, got us under Roman law, money, taxes, and then the Saxons came along. It all happened again, churches. And it was a long road to civilization. Talking about order out of chaos as well. So you think in England we had all these different kingdoms: Mercia, Kent, Essex, Northumberland, Northumbria, Wessex. I think that's about it. East Anglia is another one, and we were all scrapping with each other. Then the Vikings came along. King Alfred said, "Right, you know what? Let's all come together as one, and we can sort of fight back against the Vikings." Later on, we become a union with and then a union of the United Kingdom. And then later after that, and these things are happening in Norway at the same time. The Norwegian Viking, the Scandinavian Viking kingdoms are all scrapping with each other, and it's just like we'll come together as one. And then we'll also have a big bust up in Europe, in America. Out of that came the European Union, and now they just need all these global crises to say, do you know what? Let's get rid of all nations, and we'll just become one big world. No nations anymore. And then also we'll have one world currency because it stops. So we need a big financial crash. They could say, let's stop battling each other. There's a movie, Watchmen, where they had some big global doomsday event, and out of it came one world. All the United Nations basically all came together. But in reality, it was just one flag. So get rid of it. It's a bit like the European Union. It's one big European Union flag slapped onto Europe. And it's trying to get rid of all the original national identities by bringing all these Africans in and Arabs and replacing the original populations of these countries. Thankfully, Eastern Europe's still a bit rough, which is the reason why the European Union's been pumping so much money into Eastern Europe with the roads. It's all probably trying to lead them towards becoming like Western Europe. They can become some degenerate party, pleasure-seeking, narcissistic population like we are in Britain. Concerned about very little of them getting smashed and watching football and bread and circuses. and but thankfully in Eastern Europe it's still a bit sort of second world, and that's a good thing that's kind of saved them. They haven't got millions of Africans and Arabs trying to come for a better life, so they might keep their national identity. Rambling there. You've said I think it's quite hard to know all this when so many don't understand anything yet. One can feel quite alone at times, but it is very nice in Norway. Now, if one do not think about all this, so one can understand normies just having a good time. Yeah, you've said what I've said. I mean, ignorance is bliss, isn't it? But it's not anymore. You know, like 2020, 2021. I always used to say between when I first got into this stuff and I was really headstrong about it around 2015, you know, the red pill rage, I was very much, you know, on the side of wanting to stand out on the streets, like demonstrating and trying to like wake people up and that. And with experience over a couple of years, I realised you just can't. It's like the Matrix, you know, you can't wake everybody up, unfortunately. You've got to just let them sleep and they'll wake up in their own time if they ever wake up. I think it's Morpheus that says when he's taking Neo for a walk, a lot of these people are not ready to be woken up. And then obviously the lady in the red dress walks past. It is a lonely place at times, it really is. You know, but one thing I was uplifting this morning when I walked through town, and I started chatting to some bloke, and it was a bit. He's a lovely guy, but he was a bit on a normie side. You know, he believed in everything that happened during 2020. But the best thing was at the end of it, he goes, "I didn't let my daughters take the procedure, and he didn't take the procedure." So great. There's probably more people than we realise that haven't been bullied into taking that procedure. And there's plenty of people who are questioning the outcome of it now, so it's all good. If they try anything again, they're being very careful to try anything again, so we're okay. You know, we've got to try and stay optimistic about it. What's this? We have most shops open here and places to eat and drink, so different. Yeah, I've noticed that in some of the videos over in Norway that vloggers, you know, going over to Norway, it looks quite. The streets look quite nice, you know, but you know, a lot of streets in England are rough and grim, to be honest. A lot of to-let shops and boarded up and all that. Yeah, thanks for wishing me a Merry Christmas and, you know, all the best to you as well. Hope you have a good New Year's. Sandwich Bar, thanks for what you do. Important there's someone out there documenting the country. It's 50-50, mate. I go out there a little bit for my own sanity as well. You know, if I'm sat around in my flat going stir crazy, it gets me out. Fresh air. I interact with people. I get into situations, which is always good. Good and bad. It's just better than sitting indoors. We're not meant to be indoors, are we? So, but you know, what do you do in this big open prison that we live in? It's nice that you watch some of the videos. You have to admit, you find it quite scary. It's interesting. Wouldn't mind you elaborating on that if you could. I don't know what you find scary. Well, you see. Oh, I see what you mean. You probably think the decline of the country is quite scary. It is, to be fair. 10 years time. We're very lucky and fortunate to remember it when it was good, though. Thanks, mate. Cheers for wishing me all the best. Yeah, as you say, we'll see what happens next year. Me personally, I think. I think next year could be okay. I really don't know. As I said at the beginning, I'm not Nostradamus. I'll just go with the flow and see what happens. And GPE 1279. Thanks for this. It's probably been over 4 years. Yeah, you mentioned the Cube. I think there was somewhere called the Cube up there. Maybe you went to the assembly rooms even. I'm not too sure, but yeah, Saldergate's not too bad. I mean, in the summertime when it's busy with people, it's a lot better, obviously. You know, going on a Boxing Day isn't the best day, really. Last but not least, Burner TV 007. That's a good name. That all look bleak. Wait until you get 50 Turkish barbers with all the lights and displays running all day, every day. Tell me about it, mate. And they'll have all the fancy cars around the back and you know, definitely not anything suspicious at all. You know what, them Turkish barbers could even be like a portal into what's going on in the hotels, you know, like to get certain bits of equipment into the hotels by the back door. Has to be said, I you know, I've seen plenty on my travels and they've always seemed okay, really. And thinking about it, one thing I did think the other day, because I watched a decent video the other day by somebody about Turkish barbershops being like fronts for things going on in the background, organised crime, shady deals, and it made me think of Breaking Bad as an example, because as it. Yeah, because you've got Gus in Breaking Bad. Obviously, has a restaurant, a burger place, and obviously Walter White's cooking crystal meth down below, isn't he? And then also you've got Sopranos. Tony Soprano's got a front. I think he's in the laundry business, and then he's got a strip bar as well. Obviously, he's involved in other stuff. Yeah, so that's that really. I think I've said enough. So anyway, cheers for your comments, and if anyone else watches this, cheers. Ta.